This morning, second game of day 2, 7 games done and another 14 to go, all brought to you live this weekend. Don't miss a minute of the action here today, as all the teams want to continue to make their mark on this competition. I'm Lynn Carpenter and I'm delighted to be joined in the commentary box today by Nat Pepperell. Nat, good tournament so far?
Yeah, fantastic. Some of the games yesterday were absolutely amazing and so close.
So we saw this morning already Ireland take on Israel, 40-match victory to the Emirates. Next up now, Emirates are playing Cayman Islands, somebody we haven't seen a lot of over here in the region. How do you think this match might go?
You know, I think, if I'm honest, if I call it early, I think Emirates might take it, but I don't think we saw the best of Emirates yesterday. And Cayman Islands, obviously, we haven't seen that much of, so it'll be an interesting game to watch.
So as you can see, the teams are just taking to the court. So let me give you the starting 7 of both today. So Emirates first, Amy Marshall in at goal shooter, Stapley at goal attack, Wright at wing attack, centre Lewis, Tucky at wing defence, Searle at goal defence, and goalkeeper is Leslie Kirby. The coach for the Emirates is Olivia Mason. And for the Cayman Islands, our invitational team here this weekend, Copeland at goal shooter, Wilson goal attack, Carius at wing attack, their centre Catherine Gow, wing defence Logan, Lynchin at goal defence, and their goalkeeper Lewis. The coach for Cayman Islands is Lyneth Montieth, and our umpires for today are Joe Lilly and Ryan Edwards, and the reserve umpire James Thomas. So the umpires will shortly be getting this match underway. So another competitive hour of netball ahead of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a key matchup will be in the centre position. Carly Lewis was really fundamental for Emirates yesterday, and Catherine Gow also, took a lot of ball through the mid-court, so it'll be a good matchup between those two.
And as you can see, here we go. Ball girl bringing the ball in for the first centre pass. Ball girls again this morning from St Ninian School here on the Isle of Man.
Yeah, already Emirates are struggling to get that ball forwards, which is good credit to Cayman Islands. They started to play ball side. Yesterday they played behind a lot. Great pressure by the defence.
So that line up between Lynch and Lewis at the back for Cayman Islands.
Oh, yeah, great pressure. They started to expose other teams yesterday on that long ball, but actually it can be broken down, and that was really good defensive pressure by Emirates.
Getting caught a little bit flat, perhaps Emirates here not giving it a good body angle to see the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, the Cayman Islands must have done some of their homework, and they've started to really play ball side. A lot of the time they got caught behind yesterday. Well, she says. Someone's challenge on that front ball. If they challenge the front ball in the circle, it's either going to put down on the feed or it's going to be lifted, and then the back player can play on it.
So Marshall slots the first one for Emirates.
Yeah, good defensive pressure there by Emirates, running hard on that centre pass.
Again, good pressure by Kirby there.
I'd like to see Cayman Islands mixing it up a bit, and instead of just trying to send that long ball, play to post, a little bit more play to the circle edge, work it in to start off with, just look after the ball early on. They don't need to do any hugely long passes yet.
Good speed down the court there. Stapley with the penalty. Nice shot. So we saw yesterday Cayman Islands brings a different style of play to the region, so many of the teams here this weekend won't necessarily have played against them, and that yesterday would have been an advantage, but everyone will have watched the videos last night, they'll have done their prep, so that changing up a little bit is going to be quite critical for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've watching Cayman Islands yesterday. We know that they're an aerial team. We've seen their jump height. They're very good at taking those interceptions out of the air. So it's really important that Emirates just play it nice and short, and then they take that out, and then boxing out as well on your rebounds. You're not going to beat Nikki and Nikisha at the back for jump height. Nice pop out by the goal shooter to open up the space there. And really good swing around the circle to open up Stapley. And you can already see the wing attack position ready just in case she needs to offload to open up the goal shooter at the post. It's good play by the midcourt.
So Marshall then only going to get one shot in there, aren't they, with the rebound ability of Lewis and Lynch.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, well weighted for that 3-second feed.
Great lean there from Lewis.
Yeah, and you can see Amy Marshall just breathing out before she takes that shot, just to calm herself, reset.
So 3-0. Cayman Islands yet to get on the scoreboard this match.
That's much better from the Cayman Islands, just playing that long ball flat into Kay Copeland. We saw yesterday that Kay Copeland gets the ball, she's going to score. She's a very good shooter.
You wonder how many of those they'll get away with here, because the keeper is very fast at coming around.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to see the Cayman Island defenders as well go in on some of those swings, because I do believe that they can get them.
It's an interesting girl, just looking to defenders.
Nice double defence by centre and wing defence there for Emirates on the wing attack, just forcing that centre pass backwards.
Oh, unlucky.
Yeah, I think that's a bit more force than an option. It's more because you've got your centre and wing attack quite high and quite flat, playing laterally to the ball, and one of them needs to punch down and get a little bit of depth, even if it just draws the defence.
It's a nice transition for Emirates. Just not quite seeing the options in the circle at the moment. Really good defence by Cayman Islands, by Lewis and Lynch.
Lovely shooting by Marshall.
So 5-1. 5 minutes gone here at this match.
Emirates just struggling on their second phase from the centre pass at the minute. But still, patient work, gets it to goal. Good shot, Stapley.
You can see they're looking for that long ball every time, aren't they?
Yeah.
Worked it better there. Patience around the circle.
And that was credit to Catherine Gow. She went deep on that second phase, which then allowed space for the goal attack at the top. So someone has to draw down and wide. Very clever play by Carly Lewis, drawing that obstruction.
Nice shot. So both Stapley and Marshall having an impact in the shooting circle, confident up there.
And Stapley had a really good game yesterday as well. I mean, she's still a real youngster. Played in the under-17s, I believe, at the last competition where they went up to the performance section. She was the captain. So she's got many years ahead of her.
You can see when they do get the ball to Copeland, they pretty much score.
Yeah, they do have that shooting prowess, definitely.
Good hands there by Logan, reading that ball. Very athletic Cayman Island players. we wondered how they would fare in the level of intensity they're going to have to play this weekend, the repeat matches, because this will be probably fairly new to them. I think they're not a ranked team in the world, they're rated, so they haven't played enough matches in a period to give them that world ranking, which means this level of match play in 4 days is going to be quite intense for them.
Yeah, and I think we saw that a little bit in their second game yesterday. They looked a little bit more tired, just lacked a bit of defensive movement. But you know, this is fresh legs after a night's sleep, so hopefully they'll run out a good 60 minutes in this match. Oh, just an offside call there. It's a coach killer, that one. Good centralisation there by Carly Lewis coming down, means that we've got more options going into the attack. I'd like to see Marshall and Stapley working a bit more together in that circle at the moment. They're working quite independently.
Nice play by Marshall. The shooter to shoot the ball isn't on as many times as you would think there, is there?
Yeah, and sometimes they're caught on the same side or the same baseline. Just like to see a bit more communication between the two. Oh, great hustle there by Victoria Sol.
So if you are with us from wherever part of the world or the region you are, let us know you're watching and we'll try and give you a shout out. So Jane, Brian supporting Emirates. I don't know if you're in warmer climes than we are at this moment in time.
Ooh. When you just got there, she stopped. She's got to keep running onto that ball. It was good vision by Gao. Good rebound.
Very strong there in the circle. 8-4 now. 5 minutes on the clock. Emirates marginally in the lead, but there's nothing between the two at this stage.
No, not at all. And that was great timing by Amy Marshall on that drive to the ball. She held out well. Oh, good patience there by Cayman Islands. I was hoping they wouldn't just wing it in from that free pass, and they played really sensible netball, played it to Catherine Gowan in. Emirates going to have to watch out for that. That's twice now that Alexis Carias has been sort of the releaser of the pressure and has come for that long pass from Catherine Gow.
Okay. So a number of these Emirates players are playing for the first time for the country, and another relatively new international side, the Emirates.
Good work right there by Carly Lewis to work the ball to the circle edge.
Stronger, better offer in there. So 10-5.
Nice space again by Catherine Gow.
Great take by Copeland.
Oh, beautifully kept on.
Copeland again. That's no mistake this time, close to the gap down. So 4 in it. We've got 3 minutes on the clock here, Nat.
That's a better move, second phase. Got nice depth that time with the shooter releasing it.
There's a shooter killers, those balls, when you think they're in, they're not. more patience now. Cayman Islands waiting for that ball to open up. Kirby's really got to put some front pressure on there, otherwise they'll pop them in all day.
Yeah, it's so difficult, isn't it, when you've got somebody that's so aerial and you know they can launch those long balls in. You've got to be off the body, working the front, working the back. And actually, it's really clever play by Gao to see when the defender is caught round the back and she can send that ball in. Oh, great switching there between Kirby and Seoul. Just a bit of miscommunication there.
They're looking off the ball where there's just 2 minutes left of this first quarter. Day 2, game 2.
You know, that's reasonably inevitable because you had your wing attack come all the way down and then almost 4 players in a line, so they're constantly running back from the ball rather than towards it. Whereas before, when she was being that nice long link, it really opens up the space better.
Good defence there. Seoul didn't give away the space.
Yeah, and quite often you see defenders in that position contact the handle, the ball, which is very clean.
So really competitive first quarter, 2 goals in it, 10-8 the Emirates lead against the Cayman Islands.
Oh, great defence again by Catherine Gao, just unfortunately crept offside a little bit.
They've got the opportunity with plenty of time left on the clock to pull another one back.
Just need to remain nice and calm. We saw yesterday the curse of the clock.
Don't want to give away a penalty at this stage in the last few seconds.
Wow.
And there we go. Cayman Islands centre pass. They could level it. Wow. How does she keep that in?
Oh, great shot. Oh, I thought Emirates would hold on to that ball, but they're going to go for it.
And she's got a penalty. She's going to have to shoot it. Now, can she do? No.
No,
We thought the contact had been called, so that makes it extremely interesting and very close here in the game between Emirates and Cayman Islands. 10-all at quarter time.
Yeah, very close game, exciting. I mean, to be fair, I think it's going to be close for the first half. I still think Emirates will push on going into the third and definitely into the fourth, but you know, it's a great spectator game, isn't it, if it stays close? I might be wrong.
And clearly the impact at both ends proving quite a sort of a key factor in this game. The Emirates are doing well to get the ball in the circle, but if they lose the ball, the 2 defenders at the back there, Lynch and Lewis, are all over it, and they're not really getting another opportunity.
Yeah, and it's, you know, we talk about the jump height, but it's also the positions that they're putting themselves in. They're actually getting a really good rebound space by getting the other shooter on the back so that they can't get into the ball. So it's clever play and athleticism as well. So you're right, you know, if they miss down that end, it's going to be turned over. Having said that, Emirates are putting on quite a lot of defensive pressure through the court and forcing the wing attack to come quite deep. So they are getting turnover back, but more in the mid-court.
So as always, it'll be interesting to see what the 2 coaches do at this early stage in the game. Nat, will they make any changes out there, do you think?
I don't think so. I think it's mainly a case of feedback at the minute. I mean, for Emirates, what I'd like to see them doing at the moment, I don't think the second phase of the centre pass is coming out too well. We've got both the goal attacker and goal shooter generally playing on the same side, and if Stapley doesn't go to the same side, she's going away from the ball, so she just needs to work out her starting position at the centre pass so she can play nice and deep for that second phase, and then I think they'll get it through a lot easier. And for the Cayman Islands, I just want to see them be a bit more patient in working it to the circle edge. They started to do it a bit more. And Gao is being quite clever. When Alex Corrales comes deep, she's then playing down to do sort of a positional interchange. But sometimes when they both get caught high, that's when that long ball goes in, and it's more forced than accurate. The accurate long passes, brilliant. The forced ones, not so much.
So we will bring you any changes as they are brought to our attention as soon as we can do. 10-all here in this game, Cayman Islands against the Emirates. Both teams will be back out later on, so we will see the Cayman Islands in the last match tonight against the Isle of Man. That's going to be another really competitive game, and we will see Emirates take to the court against the Republic of Ireland at 5 o'clock. So let's just bring you some highlights of that first quarter now. So if you're enjoying the netball here at the National Sports Centre in the Isle of Man, remember, send us your comments, #NEOpen. We've also just got with the real world in social media. We are now on Instagram at Netball Europe. So Jane Bryant, understand you're in sunny Manchester. Is it really sunny? That will be unusual if it is. And Jane is watching because her daughter Simone Jacobi is on the bench for Emirates. So it will be exciting to see if they bring her on. I'm sure you'll be cheering her from across the water.
Ooh. Good rebound position again there by the goal attack. Cayman Islands take the lead.
So as you can see, there have been no changes from either side in this quarter.
That is a much better second phase. Good job, Zoe Stapley.
So she must have heard you playing front ball there, more aware of the side the ball was coming down to.
Yeah, and the goal shooter was on the other side as well, Amy Marshall, so much better.
So Stapley, good rebound by Marshall.
Yeah, and the feed in from Carly Lewis again, very clever there. 3-second feed, she's not rushed. Very much in control.
Better positioning by both Sol and Kirby.
Yeah, and good backup by Gal, putting a body on the line for that ball. So good screen there by Copeland.
Umpires saying it wasn't taking the right position. So Copeland do it. 1 goal in it, 12-11. We heard from the assistant coach at Emirates yesterday in a match after the one they played, talking about her players doing press-ups if they didn't win. I'm sitting here feeling worried for them at this moment in time.
Yeah, I think it was error counts or anything. If anyone does anything like an offside or a break-in, yeah, I think they might be hitting the press-ups later.
And we saw there that Kirby put a huge amount of pressure and uncertainty in the minds of the Cayman Islands. They weren't sure which side she was going to go on. She's won the throw-in for Emirates.
I wonder if that's minus press-ups. You can thank me later, players.
And for those of you who don't know Deb Jones really well, she's a big softie, really. She'll kill me for saying that.
Oh, just another miscommunication. Emirates all getting caught on the right-hand side of the court there, kind of added to that mistake. See if the Cayman Islands can capitalise.
On a number of occasions, it just takes a player to swing the ball back to the centre or use a different channel down the court, but they tend to get trapped in that one channel, don't they, rather than breaking out?
Yeah, and I think it's a style of defence as well that the Cayman Islands used very well yesterday. They used it well when they played against Gibraltar, was trying to keep them all on one side. You can see their body position to play them all onto the same side, so they're almost causing that by their defence. Amy Marshall getting the contact. Great pop ball to Zoe Stapley. Nice confident shot from the youngster. Nice play there by Alexis Correas.
Copeland really dominant. We're not seeing a huge amount of shooting opportunities by Rosie Wilson. They're tending to dominate with Copeland at the back there.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised because Kay Copeland has been shooting really well, and if she doesn't score, she tends to get the rebound. It's just whether that becomes wearing, isn't it, by the end of the game when you get into quarter four and you put up all the shots.
So Cayman Islands aiming to make it to a 2-goal gap, which they do. 12-14 now. Still very close.
Yeah, very close, and can go either way. It's one mistake, one turnover. Like that.
Really well read. Great example of attackers defending as much as anybody else on the court.
Good strength there to hold the defender off. Beautiful. And it's nice to see the feeds being mixed up as well. It's not an aerial ball that can get intercepted, but it's just that soft lift to drop down nicely for Zoe. Lovely circle edge ball as well by Eleanor Wright.
So Marshall. Oh.
Good double play there by Alexis Correas. If she's going to get the ball deep, lay it off to a defender, go again.
That'll give her side a real confidence boost. But poor Alexis Correas got the ball in the back of her head there. It's unfortunate from her own player. As we said in the first game, never take your eye off the ball. Especially when your own player has it.
Even as a coach, I've had a play in the face as a coach from not looking at the ball. Nice wide split there from Alice Correas and Catherine Gow, making sure that the defender couldn't fly. Cayman Islands are playing very well at the moment.
So 3 goals in it, 13 against 16.
Good hands in there by Nikisha Lewis.
Wow, she did well to hold that. Stapley. Oh,
bit of contest underneath the post for the rebound space.
Nice and calm. Oh, great. Reading the ball.
Yeah,
just unfortunately just let it slip away again. So important to look after those turnovers.
Yeah, I think that might be 20 press-ups.
Again, Stapley effective out on court there. Marshall.
Nice. Marshall's so good under pressure as well, you know. Send the ball back out, get it back in again, a bit closer to post. No rush, and just takes the time on the shot really nicely.
Very calm player, isn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. And that, we were talking about this yesterday, that's what you need from your shooter. You don't want them to be riled, you don't want them to sort of get involved in the emotion of the game, because it's important that they can just take those shots and sink them. It's getting a bit feisty in that middle.
Good positional play by the defenders there for Emirates.
Yeah, just ball placement as well, a little bit off. So she had the defender on her back. She kind of wanted the ball placed a little bit in front. Instead, she got it right over the top, which makes it tricky.
So I think the umpire rightly just managing the game and the contact versus contest element of it.
Yeah, and it has got a little bit scrappy in parts and a little bit feisty in that contest, so I think it's good that they're getting control of it early on, because we're only in the second quarter. There's still half a game to go, and we want a clean game. We want everyone to be able to play to their best.
Now that brings us back to 16 games all. Just under 6 minutes to go until half time. It's almost who's going to blink first, isn't it, in this one?
Yeah, absolutely. Although I'm quite impressed at the moment, a lot of it's being won by skill and by talent and good structure, as opposed to by errors. There's not as many errors as we saw yesterday from either team.
Clever play by Copeland. Quickly reacting to the penalty. 17-16. Emirates centre pass.
Just a bit flat now on that second phase offer again.
Oh, but she takes a brilliant ball.
Yeah, beautiful pass. And you know what, it's probably a good thing that they mixed it up, because we've had that same play a couple of times, so maybe it's all tactical and it was all on purpose.
Good reading there by the game, so ball handling error picked up.
Again, well weighted, beautiful feed by Carly Lewis. Just watching a shooter, seeing where it's going to open up. Just unfortunate that they couldn't capitalise on that one. Unlucky. Rachel Tucky, I thought that was a nice challenge of hers. Nice front position by Kay Copeland, and great ball in. Well done.
So that was against the Emirates Centre. So 2 goals in it. 4 on the clock to go.
Oh, and another beautiful ball. Really mixing it up now. Lots of different feeds in.
Using Wilson as well this time. A little bit more.
Much nicer. It's so hard to read as a defender if the attacker constantly changing up what they're doing. You've got to constantly mix up as a defender, and it's almost like you're chasing. Oh, great footwork movement there by Nikisha Lewis. Just constantly moving her feet to get around.
She's very fast, isn't she?
Yeah.
That mixing up, never quite sure she's going to come front, back, side, so the ball handler really doesn't know where the space is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really good if you're a youngster at home, just, you know, if that's your position, track them for a little bit, watch that particular player and watch what she does with her feet to move around so cleanly. I just wonder whether the pressure of the scoreboard has hit Emirates a bit. Oh, beautiful ball.
It's interesting when she reverses to line up for the post. She does an inward reverse where most players would go the outside way. She turns the opposite way. Copeland.
I have to watch for that now.
So Copeland again. Long shot's going to be the difference for them. So as we head towards the last couple of minutes in this first quarter, 16-21 until half time.
Another turnover. Emirates are going to want to do something about this pretty soon, otherwise the scoreline's going to run out on them.
So will they bring on any of their bench, perhaps change it up in the shooting circle a little bit?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I think Kirkby was doing a really good job when those long balls were coming in of moving her feet round to prevent that. But now that Kay Copeland has started to play slightly differently, she just needs to adjust her style a bit. She's still moving her feet round, which is allowing that baseline drive for Kay Copeland. So she just needs to now maybe play a little bit ball side or even non-ball side with a view of running on the passes rather than giving her that drive. But I mean, that's a good double. That's well read by Victoria Soul there to drop back onto that. But I'd just like to see her with a little less room to move. Rose Wilson showing that she can shoot. She obviously heard us.
She must have done. And I think that's what's one of the strengths of the Cayman Islands. You think they're going to play in a certain way, but they do have the ability and the skills to change it up. They're playing against the defender as well. So as the Emirates are reading what's happening, they're just changing their style.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think where the Emirates were working quite well together to start off with, I think they've gone a little bit. I think the pressure of the scoreboard, especially moving the ball into attack, has made them a little bit tunnel visioned. So they're not now seeing that offline defender.
So we are literally 30 seconds left, 5 goals in it. And that will be taking the gap to 6, 23 against 17. They're going to look to get it in. They're aware of the time scale.
Caution there for persistent obstruction.
And that's what the coaches don't really want to see, giving away a penalty. Let them take the shot by all means, put pressure on it, but don't give the penalty away.
Yeah. Wow.
So a very interesting game here between Emirates and Cayman Islands. At half-time, the score is 24 to Cayman Islands, 17 to Emirates.
Wow, didn't expect that.
So the conversations again on the benches is going to be interesting. Certainly those last few minutes saw the Cayman Islands really take advantage of this game. Emirates seemed a little bit off the pace, didn't have any answers to the flow of play.
Yeah, and I don't think they adapted to what the Cayman Islands were doing either, because it was kind of goal for goal, that, you know, a couple up or equal until probably like the last few minutes, and Cayman Islands just ran away with it and they didn't have any answers, and it is that pressure, and what it does to players on the court is it does make them, well, it's one of two things. You either go tunnel visioned and you can just see one thing, or they start taking in way too much information and then struggle to make a decision, and we see that sort of faltering on letting go of the ball. So they just need to relax. You know, 7 goals, yeah, it's a reasonable amount, but at half time it's pretty much nothing. It's 3 or 4 turnovers, and when you've seen games so far swing heavily either way, they can pull that back. They won't be too worried as of yet. The Cayman Islands, however, I think will be really pleased with that quarter. I think they changed up what they were doing really well. I think they tweaked a few things. They were a lot more patient, a lot more clinical, and they deserve to be ahead at this point in time.
So all to play for the rest of the weekend. And remember, one of the things that will happen this weekend on Sunday is the player of the tournament will be announced. Opposition coach chooses the player from the other team who they feel gave the overall performance, and it'll be interesting to see how he goes, because so far, out of the 8 games we've seen this weekend, there are so many effective players. But let's just bring you some of the highlights now of that second quarter. So I hope you enjoyed some of those minutes of highlights brought to you. Lots to celebrate in this game, Nat. Some really brilliant passages of play out there. Next 30 minutes is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've also got to bear in mind that you'll have the Republic of Ireland and Gibraltar watching this game as well. They both beat Cayman Islands yesterday. So this is will be quite an interesting result for them. I think they'll be watching what the Cayman Islands are doing against Emirates and, thinking about how that can work in their favour when they come to play against them as well, because we know that competition between those three is really tight.
And of course yesterday saw Emirates take on Israel, and while they won that game, it perhaps wasn't as convincing a performance as we thought it might have been.
No, and you know what, there were moments that were really good, and it's the same as this game. There's moments that are really good and then moments that just let them down a little bit. So you can see the principles that they've got, and you can see the play that they're trying to play, and every now and then they'll all be on one side of the court, or every now and then two of them will be in the same place, and it's more often than it's too much, if that makes sense. There's too many times that happens, so they'll definitely be want to cut those out. But you know what, they've got great coaches on that team as well, so the input that they'll be getting now will be really invaluable.
And we know that Cayman Islands have made a couple of changes, so they're not resting on the laurels at all. So in at wing attack now we see Keon Clark, and wing defence Christy Holston coming on. So really refocusing their centre court, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, and I don't think the other two are doing a bad job. I think they're doing quite a good job. I think Tashelle was doing a really good job of playing the wing attack into the same side as the other players. And I think Alexis Karias was doing a really good job on those links, sometimes coming a bit deep, but she did it less in the second quarter. I think for them, that's probably more of a fitness call. We're still on day 2. They've got a few more games to go, and they're 7 goals up, so you might as well make the change now. If it breaks down, they can always switch it back in the fourth quarter. There seems to be, you can't see it on screen, but also there's Kirkby, I think, is practicing her shooting, so we could see her changing ends of the court, and that wouldn't surprise me either. As we said, the shooting had gone a little bit off towards the end, but also she wasn't getting those interceptions off Kay Copeland, so mixing up the defence, in my opinion, would be a good thing, because they need to stop that flow now, the Cayman Islands. They need to put a bit of a spanner in the works for them. I mean, Cayman Islands are now in the great position, aren't they, where they can just look after the ball. If they look after the ball, look after their own centre pass, keep 5 to 7 goals ahead, then they're sitting pretty. And the pressure is all on Emirates, so Emirates need to do something now to make that mix up.
And I think that is exactly what they've done. So we think we will see Stapley going out to wing attack in this next quarter. Kirby will move from goalkeeper up into the shooting position, and Marshall is going to goal attack, so probably not any surprises there. And we'll wait to see who they're going to put on at goal defence.
I think that's quite clever to have Stapley still on at wing attack, because she knows how to feed the circle, she knows where she wants the ball, but also she is non-stop, like she doesn't stop when she's defending as well. She's always on it, so she's constant in attack and she's constant in defence. And we saw her at the under-17s, like her defensive prowess, because she ended up playing in the defensive end at one end.
She did. So we know that Jill Porter is now coming on at goalkeeper for Emirates, and apologies, it is actually Simone Jacobi on at wing attack for Emirates. So Joan Bryan, get ready, your daughter's coming on in this quarter.
I'm sure that's equally as good an option.
There's all sorts of options that they've got, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what's great about that. So they've clearly got Stapley with the wing attack bib on at this moment in time. So possibly thinking if there's an injury or opportunity to change it, they could do that and bring her on in that role.
Yeah, but nice to see them using their bench, because also, what's the point in bringing them if you're not going to put them on when you need to make a change?
Very true.
So fair play. She obviously earned that position, so good job you.
24-17, and it is Cayman Islands centre pass.
I think that was a break-in. Oh, good arms.
Lewis almost had that. Copeland again, likes that big step in.
She does.
It's effective.
I think it's her release point on his shot is so high, it's impossible to mark anyway.
Catherine Goer's had a really good game in there again for the Cayman Islands at centre.
Yeah, she has. She's almost silenced Lewis a little bit. Bit of a fumble for the Cayman Islands again, all play down one side of the court. Yes. Well done, Rachel Tuckey, opening up, not Rachel Tuckey, sorry. Yes, Rachel Tuckey, opening up space really well. Just holding time to get the ball back on court. Umpire's making sure we play the whole 60 minutes, which is good. Ooh, gotta wait for the whistle though.
Well done, play the front ball.
Shot.
Well done, Marshall.
I wonder how much they've also put Kirby in there for the rebounds as well. She was holding a really good rebound position then.
So we know she's effective at keeper, so understands a good rebound position. She's an effective shooter for Emirates as well.
Yeah, one of those people that I'm jealous of that can play both ends.
Nice vision into the circle there. Marshall.
Great shot.
Oh,
doesn't count. An attacking contact.
Interesting. Emirates didn't realise that.
We saw a couple of those yesterday. Yeah, great defence there by Emirates, and a bit of a force ball in by Clark.
Porter now on the goalkeeper for Emirates. Ball placement just a little bit behind the players at the moment for Emirates, not really kind of finding the space on the court.
Yeah, perfect example of that right there. As soon as you said it, just sent it a little bit behind. No one's called time, so this is a bit of a tricky one. The umpire can't really call time until the player calls time, so that's why she was waiting for them to play on, but they have now called time. We're hoping it won't be too serious.
She's holding her knee. I know they had one of their players was injured yesterday from Cayman Islands. He's not taking part in the match today.
Yeah, and it's never nice to see. But you know, we saw Erin Peters for Republic of Ireland go off yesterday, and she came back on today, so that was great to see.
Had a brilliant game as well.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Brilliant game.
She's a great little player.
So sadly, Christy Hilston, who's only just joined us at half-time, is going over to the bench to get some treatment, hopefully. You may see her again.
Great feet again by the defence.
Yeah, their hands and their arms are just all over it.
Yeah. And it's almost putting pressure on the shooters just to back off a little bit. They just need to stay strong. Strong rebound as well. I love Nikki Lynch's face when she gets that ball. Like, it's got Bass my ball all over her face. It's fantastic. Oh, unlucky there, Victoria Soul. That's what she's got to do, go back on that angle and go up for it.
So a tricky game for Emirates at the moment. 26-18 Cayman Islands lead. Their centre pass. Oh, marking off the court there, perhaps.
Oh,
just missed that one.
I think there's a lot going on, isn't there? I'd hate to be an umpire in this.
Really good defence there by Cayman Islands again.
We've almost got a bit of an off-marking diamond defence there by Emirates. It just got a little bit flat. That's why the outlet was out, but they're obviously mixing up their defence a little bit.
There you go. There's the reverse pivot.
Yeah.
Very interesting, isn't it? Most people wouldn't automatically do it the other way.
I wonder whether it's because she's so close to the baseline, she pivots in to stay in court.
Better patience there by Cayman Islands.
Yeah, and actually using a little rotation in the circle there.
Wilson takes the score now to give Cayman Islands a 10-goal gap. So from that really first tight quarter, they're pulling away now.
Yeah, they are. Can I change my call?
No. So I hope you're enjoying the netball here. I hope Mum Joan Bryan, you're proud of your daughter playing out there for Emirates. If you want to join us in the netball conversation, remember, use the hashtag #NEOpen. Nat and I will keep an eye on our Twitter feed and give you a mention. A lot of vocals from benches, both benches, isn't there? Real encouragement and
yeah, just a little bit of potentially a little bit confusion on the defensive setup for Emirates going into that end third. We had 3 manning on and then 1 zone marking, and that obviously allows one person to release the ball through. So they just need to get their communication sorted out.
oh, great feed. They saw that Ruth had her head down.
Yeah,
Much better.
well done for Kirkby for staying up as well. She was running backwards rather than having a nose turn, so good balance. Oh, good pressure again from the defence at the back. Good vision to link there at that time, Jacobi.
Oh, so that reverse hand take there. Unfortunately,
They're really good as a pair in those two, aren't they? Lynch and Lewis.
play really well.
Rhiannon Edwards, the umpire there, just making sure it's set in the right place. Bit of confusion as to whether it was out of court or over a third.
It's getting called for contact.
Yeah, she's had a couple of calls against her now, which is a bit unfortunate, but she's going to have to adapt her play.
Great take again by Copeland. So strong there in that circle.
Yeah, and
Positions her body so well, has the space.
and fair play to Porter, she tracked her, just couldn't quite get there.
So it's still 10 goals in it. Oh. The athleticism of some of these players is just incredible.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a gamble ball to send, to be fair. Oh, so unlucky, Porter. She read that really well. Just a little bit too late.
That's such a difficult call when the shooters step in. Are the defenders moving? Are they stationary?
Yeah, I'm not a very good umpire.
That's why Joe and Rianne are out there umpiring internationally, and we're sitting here.
As your inward pivot.
There we go. You're going to watch out for that now, aren't you?
Yeah, I want to ask her. I might find her later and ask her whether it's a technical thing or whether it's just actually she feels more comfortable shooting because that's her routine. Good strength, Jacobi there.
Yeah, lovely rotation by Kirby.
A much better placement on that ball.
First time out on the international stage for Leslie Kirby.
Wow.
Never played international netball before this weekend. So we have 11 goals in it now at the stage. 12 with that. 32 plays 20. We've got just over 5 minutes to go now until three-quarter time. So it is creeping up every few minutes. 12 goes, not impossible. 6 turnovers if you like, but we're not seeing the passages of play from the Emirates that might indicate they could do that. Do you think that?
Sorry, you were talking and I was watching what was going on court because Lewis has just been called again for contact. And it's really tricky because it was, feisty from both of them, and she's really struggling with that battle against Gao. So I completely missed what you said.
I was just saying, reflecting on the score and 12 goals and the timing and where we are, it's not impossible for Emirates to come back, and if they could be a little bit more consistent with their good passages of play. Yeah,
it's definitely not impossible. But I think they'd be hoping for Cayman Islands to start making some errors and be tired in quarter 4, and they're going to have to start making an indent. I mean, the scoreboard just keeps ticking over. They've only scored 3 so far this quarter, Emirates, and Cayman Islands so far have scored 9. It's not the third quarter they would have wanted so far.
Yeah, but better at the back there from Porter, and so they close down that mid-channel into the shooting circle.
Yeah, and ultimately, if you can get your centre pass to goal, you shouldn't need that many turnovers. It's the centre pass to goal that we're missing at the moment.
So why would you want to bring the ball out of the circle when the shooters had it in there? Interesting call. Oof.
Yeah, that's an answer I don't have for you either.
So.
Shot.
Well done, Amy Marshall.
Right, they need to build on this now to get themselves back into the game.
33 plays 21.
It's just all of it so frantic, isn't it, you know? Oh,
you could see Amy Marshall as she turned to us then, just really calm in her face, focused.
Yeah, she's doing a great job. It's an interesting position for her as goal attack. Is she an effective goal attack? I'm not sure. She certainly can shoot. I think I prefer her as a shooter because I think they may be missing that goal attack player. But she's putting the ball in it.
Great defence there by Emirates.
That's a nice drive by Porter. Give and go. Make life easy with your team. Clever.
Yeah, great overlap offer there by Marshall and Jacobi.
Yeah, nice. Well played.
Much better by the Emirates in these last few minutes. So down to 10 now. 33 plays 23. 3 minutes to go. A couple of turnovers. Back in it for anything for the final quarter.
Yeah, and they just need to keep calm as well. I think that when they play calm and they play nice, and Jacobi was bringing that calmness actually in that wing attack role. When they play a bit calmer, it's better. I think the crowd is quite loud as well, so with you saying some of them it's their first sort of international, if they're not used to this crowd, it's almost like wind around puppies, you know, it can make them way more excitable.
That's a really great comment. We were talking, Rianne and I, in the first game about how much you actually hear the crowd when you're on the court, because actually the noise sounds deafening, but all you can hear on the court is the players and the umpire. You're not conscious of anything else. I've had people saying, well, I was speaking to you, could you not hear me? And the answer is no, you can't, you don't hear it.
Yeah, but I think the atmosphere that it whips up, I think for younger players and less experienced players, it can not necessarily hear the individual stuff, but it can sort of make them a little bit more frantic, because you can feel that urgency like that.
Yeah.
Like they weren't doing balls like that to begin with.
No, and you look at that and you go, that was never on in a million years, but it's that they're knowing they're getting close, and almost you've just got to make even better decision makings when you're pulling the game back.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it's important that they're really clinical, because they can't afford to be giving away any balls. They need to look after their own and then convert, you know, the turnover that they do get, and they are getting turnover. So just be a bit more clinical with it. Nice and patient, nice and calm.
Well, they've got the ball, the opposition can't score.
Absolutely.
24 plays 34.
Good screen there by Kirkby, opening up Marshall.
This could pull it back to single figures.
Beautiful.
And it does. We've got 40 seconds left on the clock, so still time for the Caymans to score again.
Oh, great intercept. And if they can convert this, you know, it makes a difference.
Take your time.
Good by Marshall. Nice to strong and hold off.
Oh, unlucky. And that's when perhaps just a little bit more experience. Give a safe ball, don't put pressure on your team.
Yeah, and it's that franticness again, you know, she gave it, she ran really hard, and you just need to just calm, change direction. It's going to be a long shot. No, it's not. Oh,
can't shoot from there. She was out.
Oh, unlucky. That's a penalty pass.
They called a penalty. I think they did, didn't they?
Yeah, against Porter.
I thought it was quite further out. Yeah. Silly, really.
Gives her an extra foot in.
Yeah, and she scores from it.
So back to double figures.
That's a good coaching one to watch, isn't it, for defenders when the game is off like that. So at 3/4 time, what is a really tight game here in the National Sports Centre on the Douglas part of the Isle of Man. Cayman Islands are on 35, Emirates on 25. So a 10-goal game at this stage. Really interesting.
Yeah, Cayman Islands still pulled away in that quarter. Although we saw Emirates come back a little bit from the deficit, it was still an 11-8 quarter to the Cayman Islands. And you know what? They're playing brilliantly. They're playing a lot more calm, a lot more patient, and it is Emirates chasing. They just need to take a breath. They've got the talent on court. You see sparks of absolute brilliance, and then it just crumbles. It just needs someone. And I think, you know, Lewis is getting called quite a lot in the middle, and I think she was the calming influence yesterday. When it started off a bit scrappy against Israel, she was the one going, okay guys, you know, let's calm this down. You could see her with her hand gestures on court, just telling everyone to breathe. But ultimately now she's whipped into a frenzy a bit because she's getting pinged left, right and centre by the umpires. And so there's no one out there taking charge and just going, you know what, let's calm this down. And they really need that. So it'll be interesting to see whether they make any changes now to get that calmness, or whether they keep it the same and just try and instill that into them. I mean, Lewis is an experienced player at the end of the day as well. She's had a wealth of experience at international level. She's played in VNSL. So you know, she can come back from it. 10 goals, massive ask. Can it be done? Absolutely.
And of course there's something in our sport that you can't afford to wait quarter time to get the feedback from the coach. You've got to have that internal mechanism, talking to yourself about what's happening and being a little bit more maybe self-aware. So if you take the Lewis example, if you've got called 3 times for the same thing, you've got to do something different, stand back, play forward, don't get into the same scenarios. And we're seeing that in quite a few places on the court where perhaps that flag is not going up in people's minds quickly enough to adjust and adapt to the situation they're in.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Cayman Islands were mixing it up. You know, when they started to ping those long balls, we had a little bit of they pinged quite a few in now. But actually, they changed that before the quarter break. So every credit to them. I mean, it's a game at the moment that Cayman Islands love. It is quite a physical game. It's quite on the body. And they are strong, athletic girls on that court. And that doesn't fare well for the Emirates. It's not that they're not strong as well, but it's just that comparatively, it's a game that suits the Cayman Islands. So Emirates need to do the prelim work, get off the body, give themselves the space so they're not taking hit after hit after hit. Because I can guarantee you that the Cayman Islands can probably take hit after hit after hit, and they're going to keep
all
going.
Day long.
Yeah.
And there is something about playing different styles, and there's 2 schools of thoughts about this now as a coach, isn't there? That you always play to your style and you stick to that, but also that you've got to understand the style that you're playing against, because it means that sometimes you have to adapt differently. So in this scenario, I wonder how many of those Emirates players have come up against a kind of a very physical style of the Cayman Islands before now?
Yeah, I mean, probably not that much, and it's great exposure, but like you say, they do have a way of playing Emirates, but they can adapt it. They could mix it up, they could change, they could have the shooter popping out for second phase more rather than it going to your goal attack or your wing attack or your centre cutting through. They could play more of a zone defence. They've done a lot of man-on-man. They could interchange players more. There's a lot more that they can do, which still allows their style to play, but just takes away that man-on-man pressure a little bit.
So here we go, last 15 in this game between Emirates and Cayman Islands, and it's still a 10-goal gap with Cayman Islands in the lead.
Yeah, and again, that turnover, she had someone running on her shoulder, and we're still trying to give that ball do the work beforehand, lose the player. Good defence there, though, by Rachel Tucky, to turn it back over.
And as we can see, they've made a couple of changes. Cayman Islands. Curious is back on at wing attack, and they've brought Logan back on at wing defence, which was the change they had to make when Holston got injured. So pretty much their starting lineup back on now for the last 7.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me. Like I say, I thought Karaya's played well to start off with, and I think that change was probably more to just to have a little bit of fresh legs, make sure we're nice and fresh for the next few games as well. It's nice that they haven't changed up their defence. They changed their defence yesterday, and I really like this pairing of Lynch and Lewis. Oh, the noise is quite loud, isn't it? Everyone's cheering. It's an exciting game.
And all credit to the Isle of Man. They've more or less sold out all the seats this weekend.
Oh yeah, they've put on a fabulous tournament. Nice ball, very clever feed.
And whilst Wilson's a little bit quieter in the circle from Copeland, you can't ignore her, because if she gets the ball, she's equally as effective.
Yeah. Nice ball and really nice drive from Amy Marshall, much better. She was free at that point in time on that drive. She'd done the work beforehand. Oh,
great ball in.
Unlucky there by Victoria Soul. It's nice to see that she's mixing up her style of defence as well, trying everything she can to try and prevent those goals.
So the scoreline, we've still got the 10-goal gap, 37-27.
They really have to look after their own now.
Yep.
Nice ball.
If Emirates can score off their centre passes and brings that deficit down to 9, it just puts that bit of pressure mentally on Cayman Islands, doesn't it? In terms of then having to respond with their own centre pass.
Yeah, it certainly means that, you know, I think it's more the pressure on Emirates. I think it might make them breathe a little, but we see another error, and the circle pairing isn't working too well in terms of getting free. I'd love to give them a solution, but I don't have one. Oh, beautiful long ball. It'll be interesting to see what the coaches do about this, because
so that she's now Victoria So on a warning. So
Yeah.
one more, and that's to the bench. So it will be interesting.
yeah, because you know you can't not have one of your defenders for 2 minutes when the score line's like this and you're chasing it.
Doesn't look like the Emirates are making a move to change. It's interesting. 39-28. That's a really good ball in again. Just giving her too much space on the baseline there.
Yeah, and you know, fair play Cayman Islands. They've took it to the circle edge. They started working in, and now they've mixed it up again, and they're lifting it.
Putting the long bombs in.
They've changed the defender, the Emirates, and it's a shorter defender, so they've changed their style. You can see the frustration as well.
Yeah, I think she
The
thought
Emirates.
she was going to get the contact there. But there is something at this level of playing to the umpires, so the umpires don't blow it.
Yeah, and you know what? That is contest. They're both going up for the ball.
Yeah.
The only difference is that Lewis is stronger.
41-28, Cayman Islands Centre, they lead.
I think from this point, if I'm 100% honest, they can't turn it around. But I do believe that Emirates need to pick it up because they need to have a good end to this game so that when they go into the next game, they're not feeling so deflated.
And the next one won't be easy because they've got the Republic of Ireland at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So that's going to be highly competitive too.
And obviously this is part of the Invitational, the Cayman Islands, and they're going to want to beat the Republic of Ireland for the challenge. So
as we said earlier, there's in effect two competitions here this weekend. There's the overall winner, including the Cayman Islands and the UK Armed Forces. And then there's the actual Netball Europe Open Challenge, which only includes the 5 regional teams. So there's so much to play for this weekend. For Emirates and Isle of Man in particular, they're playing for their ranking points. So after this tournament, they'll be ranked in the world for the first time ever. Cayman Islands will be wanting to boost their rankings.
yeah, because the Cayman Islands aren't ranked yet either, are they? So they're currently rated. But it's interesting, isn't it? With 12 goals down, 8 minutes left. Big ask to come out with the win. I'm just wondering if there's a point in time where the coaches will go, you know what, this game has gone. Let's rest some of those players that have been running out for the whole game. And make sure that we're nice and fresh for the Island game. Or maybe that's too late. Maybe they're fit enough to run out too. Anyway.
Coaches will possibly be thinking about starting 7 combinations for the next game as well.
Yeah.
Are they trying them here, or are they just resting those and thinking they'll come out strong?
Yeah, it's interesting because you don't turn off from a game as a coach. You never go, oh, forget this one. You're still in this game, but at the same point in time, it's a competition tournament. You know, there's lots more to think about. So you will now, at this stage, have half an eye on, right, what have we got next? How are we going to make sure we finish strongly? But at the same point in time, how do we make sure we're ready for the next one? So it could be you run out your starting 7 at the end that's going to be starting against Republic of Ireland, or it could be that you're resting your starting 7, whatever works for your team really.
And that was lucky because Seoul's just been called for contact again on a warning.
I think it was obstruction, the warning.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, she's dicing a little bit, isn't she?
Just getting a little bit scrappy. Feels it up there now.
Yeah, I think Cayman Islands have gone for a lot longer passes as well. So it's kind of drawing Emirates to run on it. That's where some of the contact's coming in. There we go. There's the first change.
Lewis coming off. I bet this will be... No, not the goal defence. Interesting.
No, this is the change that I thought would potentially happen for the purpose of, I think Lewis is being rested.
For the next game, yeah. So halfway through this last quarter, 15 goals in it. Cayman Islands now leading 44-29. I think we'd probably say it has now gone beyond Emirates' reach.
Yeah, but every goal counts. I mean, we saw last time in the tournament last year that goal difference made the difference between second and fourth place. So persistent obstruction caution for Porter now. Mind you, it's interesting seeing Deanne Williams actually on at centre. She's played wing attack yesterday. I thought she played a really good wing attack. So it's interesting she's not taken to the court until now. But again, you know, we don't know the teams. We don't know how much energy they've got. And I think both wing attacks have been effective. I do think if the Republic of Ireland are watching this, they'll be quite pleased and feeling a bit more confident after their shaky first quarter against Israel today. Oh, beautiful take. Inward pivot.
It's actually quite hard to do because it doesn't feel natural to do it that way round.
I do think it's the baseline because she's quite close. This is the goal line, sorry. She's quite close to the goal line. So I think it's just to make sure she stays on court because it doesn't matter which side of the court she is, she still goes inwards, so it's not a particular angle. Sarah Donovan coming to the court as goal shooter.
Yeah. So just over 6 minutes to go for her to be there. Good to see her on the court.
It is. She was very clever yesterday, and again, well, I'm guessing. I'm probably guessing wrong, but I do wonder whether she's not made an appearance yet because she's going to play a strong part in the Republic of Ireland game. But again, that's just a guess. Nice to see Amy Marshall rewarded though for her shooting and staying on the court because she has done a sterling job. If you're going to take him out, at least manage to catch him and give him a cuddle on the way through.
Yeah, great. Calmness from Marshall there. 30 goals against 47 at this moment.
Nice play by Cayman Islands, just swinging the ball to open up the space rather than forcing it in again, just mixing up their play. They really do have a lot of tricks in their pocket. Nice front ball by Sarah Donovan, the other end. Beautiful shot. I like that about Sarah as well. She applauds her team every time a goal goes in. Nikki Lynch going off. You have done your job well, Nikki Lynch.
Hard to pick who we would have thought would be our player of the match this one, wouldn't it? There's so many good players out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Very tricky, although if you were picking it from the Cayman Islands, it would, I think for me, it would either be, oh no, you know what, you're right, goalkeeper, centre, goal shooter.
Keeping your options open there, Nat.
Yeah, I'm not going to stick to any decisions. I called the game wrong completely.
They played really well as a unit all the way down the court as well, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely. Emirates doing a good job of keeping them up the court.
4 minutes left now in this game. So I think we're going to put this one down to Cayman Islands. Not what you said at the beginning, just
no, I know.
FYI.
Completely wrong. Completely wrong.
But I think coming back from 2 losses yesterday, Cayman Islands have come out incredibly strong today.
Yeah, and I think credit to them. I think they've gone back to the drawing board, looked at the things that they didn't do so well and completely corrected them. And again, adapted throughout the game to what they were playing, and I don't think Emirates had the answer to that. Oh, not allowed in that part of the court.
And that was all about the ball placement and where it was, and awareness from the ball handler that she wasn't in space by the line.
Yeah, just looking at the Emirates bench in the back of the screen, that's not a happy bench, is it?
Now that ball should never get there. Credit to Copeland, incredibly strong performance, physically dominant there in the circle.
Yeah, and being able to do all different styles, you know, she's recognised when the long balls aren't working, she's played the front, she's run the base, and she's shot really well. So yeah, fair play.
Looks like we're going to get a few changes here. Interesting that one of the Cayman Island players came on with a green shirt on, didn't realise she still had it on.
We're just laughing there. It was Nordia was commentating on Cayman Islands yesterday, and she was saying, you know, how laid back they are, and we saw that in the warm-up, didn't we?
We did.
A couple of pictures before the game started. Maybe that's it. Chill out on the bench. Oh, I'm coming on, am I?
So with just 2.5 minutes to go, we've got a 19-goal game here, 51 against 32. I think there'll be some rethinking being done by Emirates as they head back to recover before their 5 o'clock game against Ireland this afternoon.
Yeah, goal defence, just Victoria Saul just got a caution now for persistent contact. I think, you know, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because she's got to keep going for everything. And again, that's that ball placement that you were saying about, but recognising that the defender's coming around the open side.
And when those defenders are so hard and so tight on, that ball placement's just got to be, you know, we talk really basically about head space, don't we?
Yeah.
And I think you see what's happening on the court, and they're just not recognising always where that space is. And it's a split-second decision, because as the defenders are moving so effectively, you've got to adjust where you think you're going to put the ball all the time.
Yeah, or even just the use of a few more fakes, because, you know, throughout this, those defenders want the ball. They are hunters. If you throw a few fakes in, they're going to go on them. Oh. The thing that I love about netball is there's all this feist on the court. The minute they get off the court, they'll all be best of mates. Yeah. And singing and dancing together.
They will be.
Oh, great rebound. Really good job, Victoria Saul.
She's worked for that.
Yeah, she has. Oh, that's a great ball.
Really opened up the court nicely.
Great drive by Deanne through the middle of the court. Amy Marshall lines up for another one and sinks it.
So we're into the last minute here. 52-33.
Yeah, good defence.
Good turnover again.
And that was the wing defence doing a really good job, and the goal defence doing a really good job that led to that turnover. This will be good for Emirates to have finished on a couple of runs. If they can convert this one as well, it will almost be like a little sigh of relief before going into the next game.
Much better use of the space on the court and triangles there by Emirates.
Oh, great.
We said that in unison.
Yeah. This is where the coaches will be. Where was that for the whole of the game?
So last few seconds, they're going to get a shot in, get it in. Oh, unlucky, didn't quite realise that. But what a great game.
Yeah, really good.
Cayman Islands finish this one on 52 and Emirates on 34. So quite a convincing win for Cayman Islands. They'll be pleased with that now after not being successful yesterday.
Yeah, they'll be very pleased, and Emirates not so much, but you know, every game is a new game.
So day 2, game 2, and it's all still very much to play for this weekend. Cayman Islands really had a great game, brought lots of different styles to the court, weren't afraid to change it up, and were really innovative out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I feel like they've just arrived. I feel like this was their game now, and now I'm really excited. Whereas I was a bit disappointed with them yesterday, now I'm like, brilliant. What are they going to bring for the rest of the competition? And I think anyone that's got them left to play, I think Republic of Ireland and Gibraltar will probably be breathing a sigh of relief that they played them yesterday, because anyone that's got left to play them will probably be thinking, wow, okay, what are we going to bring against that?
I mean, it's really interesting, isn't it? Gibraltar beat the Cayman Islands 54-38. They're going to see how the matches this afternoon play out. And remember, we have another 4 games to bring you today. Isle of Man against the UK Armed Forces at 1, Gibraltar against Israel 3, Republic of Ireland against Emirates at 5. And our last game today sees Cayman Islands back on the court against hosts Isle of Man at 7 o'clock.
That's going to be a cracker.
It's going to be another great afternoon of netball. Nat, thank you very much for being with me today. My thanks go to Netball Europe, to our wonderful hosts here at the Isle of Man, to all the volunteers who've made this event happen this weekend, and of course to all of you who are tuning in. Don't go too far. Be back at 1 o'clock. Have a good afternoon. Thank you and goodbye.